Hello coffee farmers, welcome back to Githua's Coffee Farm. Today I am taking you straight into my coffee farm here in Nyeri County in Mukurweini. I have been fighting to bring back the soil back to life because I know that healthy soil equals healthy coffee, bigger harvests, and a farm that will still be productive for many years. In this video, I am going deep into the amazing biology that lives under our feet, and I'll show you exactly what I'm planting as a living soil cover. So today I'm planting yellow beans and brachiaria grass. If you are a farmer, it's good to know that there is little regenerative work. You are going to enjoy these. So let's start with what I'm doing. And when I took over this coffee farm, the soil was tired. There was the years of monocropping, and there was no cover crop that was left. So the soil was compact, and there were few organic matter, and the coffee yields were dropping every season. I could see it. Leaves were turning yellow. Some cherries were small in terms of in the coffee plant, and I refused to accept that. I decided to restore the soil the nature way using biology and leaving the cover crops. So I have identified some organisms in the soil, and that is part of the component of a good soil. So let's talk about the biology of the soil and the hidden world right under the feet. Soil is not just dirt. It's a living, breathing ecosystem full of billions of organisms working together. So in this soil, we have bacteria, we have fungi, we have earthworms, we have insects, and even small mammals, all playing their part. So in the soil, there are bacteria and fungi, they break down organic matter and release nutrients into the soil. Therefore, they are also important in coffee roots, and in so doing, it's good to preserve them and also make the place better for them to continue doing well. So it's good to look at what I'm doing, and in this thing, whatever I'm doing, I'm planting the yellow bean. So the yellow bean, they are legumes, and legumes are soil doctors. They have special relationship with the so-called rhizobium bacteria in their roots. So these bacteria take nitrogen from the air and turn it into a form of nutrient, which is a free fertilizer straight from the atmosphere. And when the beans grow, the flowers eventually get chopped off, and later on they do what? They leave behind nitrogen rich in soil microbes, and the coffee trees are also helped into by the beans. So I plant yellow beans right between the coffee rows during maybe these lanes, because in my area it is not really raining as we thought, because there are instances where there is rain, there are instances where there is sun. Therefore, I saw it worth to plant the yellow bean, and they'll grow fast, and they'll cover the ground quickly, and they will suppress the weeds, and the deep roots help break any compaction. So at the end of the season, I'll get a harvest of beans for for my family, and also I'll also get to have improved the soil health. So those are double benefits. Now also I have planted a bit of brachiaria grass, and this is a tough perennial tropical grass that interplants in the strips. Therefore, I decided to plant it along the benches or alongside the contour to make sure that they have taken care of the soil from being eroded in case it rains. So the reason as to why I have planted both the yellow beans and also the grass forms a thick living carpet that prevents the soil from heavy rain and also hot sun. So its roots go very deep and bring up nutrients from raw area and also improve the soil structure. It also improves or produces a lot of biomass. When maybe it is cut, it becomes mulch that slowly feeds the microbes and keeps moisture in the ground. And also it prevents erosion on my sloping land. You can see the land is slopy, and even attracts beneficial insects that help control pests on the coffee. So I don't plant brachiaria everywhere. I use it in alternate rows so the coffee still gets sunlight and also air circulation. As the soil is the coffee trees are very young, I'll be able to monitor the grass as it grows. In my farm, I am trying my best to make sure that I have used the best ways to ensure that I have also sustained the environment, and also I really don't use synthetic fertilizers in these plots or in this soil. So I am relying on the biology and the cover crop to feed the coffee, and if this continues to work well, I plan to expand it to the entire farm next year. So my goal is a fully regenerative coffee system whereby we start with the healthy soil, and also it will lead to higher quality beans and also a farm that gives back to the environment instead of taking it from it. So I also want to encourage every smallholder farmer watching. You don't need big money or maybe fancy equipment. Start with what you have. You can see in my case, I'm using a panga to ensure that I have planted a cover crop to ensure that my soil is not exposed to sun, whereby it will be damaged. Therefore, you should start with the seeds you already know. For example, what I've talked of, the yellow beans, which are cheap and they are locally available. So the other grass that I'm talking about is brachiaria, and which is very important, or else in my case you can see here this is butternut, and which is doing well, and it's very important for you to use the locally available crops so that you can be able to ensure that your soil is covered. So brachiaria is also available through agricultural agrovets. Just give the soil cover and time and watch nature do the rest. So that's what I'm trying to do as we speak. I'm trying to make sure that I have covered my soil, since soon it will be raining heavily. So in the previous season, the brachiaria grass I planted was scorched by the sun, and this is a common challenge, especially in exposed and steep areas like these ones. This is where I'm planting, and where moisture retention is very low. So instead of rushing to replant the grass, I decided I'm starting with the yellow beans, and that's where I'm doing. And that is good to know why I decided to plant yellow beans. And one of the reasons is that they establish quickly and provide a fast ground cover, and they help reduce soil erosion, especially on these slopes. And the legumes, or maybe the beans being legumes, they fix nitrogen in the soil, and then they improve the soil fertility. They create a microclimate whereby it reduces soil temperatures and also conserve moisture. Why not plant brachiaria immediately? Why did I not plant it immediately? Is that if I plant brachiaria directly under harsh conditions, chances are there that they will struggle again, and they may get dry. So the soil is currently too exposed and dry. That's why I decided to introduce beans first, so that I prepare the soil gradually. I'm preparing the soil gradually, and therefore I'll improve the organic matter and also retain moisture. So this creates a much better environment for brachiaria to thrive later. So the importance on steep areas. On these steep parts of the farm, cover crops are not optional. They are essential. Without ground cover, soil is easily washed away by rain and nutrients are lost. So coffee roots become also exposed, but with proper cover cropping, soil is held firmly in place, and there is water infiltration. That one is improved. The water infiltration into the soil is improved, and the farm becomes more sustainable long term. So after now I do the harvesting of the beans, I'll now introduce brachiaria grass again, and this time into a much healthier and cooler and also more fertile soil environment. So cover crop is not just about planting anything green, it's about strategy. So sometimes you must prepare the soil step by step for long-term success. So in coffee farming, what you do on the ground determines what you harvest on the tree. It's very important to keep your soil well covered, because bare soil is always under stress. Here's why continuous soil cover matters. One is that it prevents soil erosion, especially on the slopes like these ones. And when rain hits bare ground, it loosens and also carries away topsoil, the most fertile layer. With cover crops like yellow beans or maybe the grass, the impact of the rain is reduced and the roots hold the soil firm in the plant. Once you do a cover crop, you conserve soil moisture, and the covered soil loses water much more slowly, and the cover acts like a blanket whereby it reduces evaporation. And this is really critical during hot periods when coffee plants can suffer moisture stress. Once you do that, you'll also be able to regulate the soil temperatures once you cover the soil, whereby direct sun can overheat the soil and damage the roots and also the soil organisms. So cover crops cool the soil and they create a stable environment where roots and beneficial microbes can thrive. Therefore, once you do that, you will also have been able to improve the soil fertility, as I have done in the planting the yellow bean, whereby the leguminous cover crop add nitrogen to the soil. So when they decompose, they increase organic matter, and therefore they improve the structure, the soil structure, and the nutrient availability for the coffee. And also, once you do it right, you'll be able to have an enhanced soil structure, and also you'll have been able to suppress the weeds. So a well-covered soil blocks the sunlight from reaching the weed seeds, therefore reducing their germination. And this saves your labor and also reduces competition for what? Nutrients. So once you do the cover crop, you support soil life. So healthy soil is alive, whereby we saw that with the earthworms, with the fungi, with also the bacteria, these organisms need a stable moisture and a cool environment, which only is covered with by the cover crop. So, and you should provide it the very first time you go to your farm. So there are simple way to plant cover crop. You just need to have your own panga and then plant those seeds accordingly. So nature never leaves soil bare. You know that if we leave it exposed, we are working against nature. But when we keep it covered, we protect our soil, we conserve moisture, and also build fertility. So a cover crop is the foundation of a healthy and productive coffee farm. Therefore, good farmers, it's good to make sure that you always go to your farm and ensure that everywhere you have planted your coffee, at least there is a cover crop, or maybe in case you don't have, just use moisture or mulch, and you will be able to have covered or maybe have prevented it from exposure from the sun, and also you'll have conserved moisture. So good farmers, as you've seen today, cover cropping is not just an extra practice in the coffee farm. It is a necessity. Whether you are using legumes like yellow beans or grass like brachiaria, the goal is simple. Never leave your soil bare. Healthy soil means healthy coffee. By protecting the soil from erosion, you'll have planted these beans. You can see them. And you'll have also been able to conserve moisture and improve fertility. We are investing in stronger plants and better yields in the future. So farming is about patience and also strategy. And sometimes, like in my case, you start with a crop like beans to prepare the ground before introducing permanent cover like grass. Step by step, you build a system and work with nature, not against it. So as you manage your coffee farm, always ask yourself, is my soil protected? Because at the end of the day, take care of the soil and the soil will take care of your coffee. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until the next one.